What's up, family? I got to come out here and see y'all closer. Y'all look good out there. Give yourselves a round of applause. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm excited to be down here in New Orleans. It's one of my favorite towns. Like my wife told you, she shared with you one of my favorite dishes. And definitely, I'm excited to be here. I love seafood, love gumbo. You've probably seen on Facebook how we even do what we call gumbo PBRs, right? Where we invite people out just to taste it as a tradition leading up to this convention. But I have a pleasure today to train each and every last one of you. And one of the things I just ask is for me to just be real honest with you. Is that okay with everybody? Is that okay with everybody? Good. So we're going to talk about a couple of things. First of all, I want to share with you just a little bit of my background. Now, we've been with 5 Links right now, me and my wife, for a little bit over 4.5 years. Actually, in May will be 5 years. Now, no network marketing experience. I never tried anything like this before. Before 5 Links, owning a real estate company, mortgage, title, investment, as well as an general contractor in the city of Chicago. But I want you to understand that coming from where I came from, one thing that my father taught me is I grew up in business. I grew up on the south side of Chicago where my father, he owned the dry cleaners. And right there, that's the south side, so you see Steve Carter right there. And one of the things I will tell you is that coming up, my father, he instilled with me making money and what you need to do in order to do it. And it all comes down to basically investing in your business. And we're going to talk about a couple of those things, but I want you to understand just how important that is. So as I was coming up and I started off with my father, I would work in the morning time at the cleaners, and then after I came and went to college, and I did 2 years of college, and I figured out that college just wasn't for me. College is for some people, but it didn't work for Frank. But one of the things that I did do is that I would work for my father at his cleaners all the way until about 3 to 4 o'clock, and then I had a part-time job working at UPS. So my part-time job at UPS, I kept that job for 12 years. And what I was able to do is I was able to take all those resources and money, and I just saved. And I saved my money. And upon saving my money, what I was able to do at that point in time, an opportunity presented itself. See, many of you all are out here and you're figuring that you're struggling in your business. Just understand that everybody that's in 5 Links, when they look at me sometimes, and like I was in a grocery store and I was getting some gas actually, and the lady said to me, she was in 5 Links, and she said, I quit. I said, well, why'd you quit? 5 Links is good right now. She said, no, 5 Links is good for you because you're at the top, right? And I'm like, I done looked at the application 1,001 times. I saw CR. I saw IMR, but I didn't see top position, right? Right? So, so I had to pay my dues. And that's what everybody has to do. Now, my dues perhaps because I have a network and I was able to start with a successful network, but I had to pay my dues in real estate because there was things and challenges that I had to go through in that business. I was just able to transform what I did and my why into 5 Links. And today, because of those decisions, I stand before you as a top producing platinum senior vice president with this company. So let's get right down into what we're talking about. First of all, let's talk about my story. Real estate versus 5 Links. See, when I first got started in real estate, the opportunity presented itself. I was sitting down there working, and a lady, she came to me, and she said, look, I got this property that I'm about to lose, and she said, if you could just save me, it costs about $20,000 to save me, and if I can't pay you back, the property is yours. So what I did is I invested that $20,000 in that property. Now, even though I invested the $20,000 in that property, I want you to understand what I did over there and what's happening over here at 5 Links. 5 Links, $249. I'm like, why couldn't 5 Links come along 20 years ago, right? As a business person. So, up front, startup costs, $20,000. Next thing, office bill out. When I built my office on the south side of Chicago, I took out a $140,000 mortgage, and I wanted to extend it out. It cost me another $300,000. You see, I understood business. I knew businesses cost money. But when I look at 5 links and we look at the opportunity that you all have before you all, $49, $49.95. That's your only overhead, your only bill out. It's already built for you. Next thing, let's talk about overhead. As my business began to grow, my overhead easily from $50,000 to $70,000 a month. I had to pay employees. I had to pay mortgages. I had to pay mortgages on properties that I was building out. 5 links, again, say it with me, $49.95. So understand, if this is your first business and you never tried business before, trust me, you are in the right place at the right time. Next thing, when we talk about real estate, single location. Right there in the city of Chicago. I built my place right there on 87 and King Drive. And me building my office right there, I had that one single location, which means I had to drive all my revenue, all my business, right there to that single location. But look at 5 links. Multiple distributors. I had one location in Chicago. Now I got 10,000 locations all across the world. And I'm just getting started. So what are we talking about? Leverage. The one thing I didn't have. Next thing, real estate. Long hours. You could catch me. I used to always crack a joke and tell people that, look, if somebody wanted to beat up Frank, all they got to do is just go to Home Depot at 6 in the morning. I'll be right there, right? And guess what? I worked until 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night every single night. And if we got any real estate owners out there, you know what that 3 o'clock phone call is, right? That's somebody breaking in one of those properties. So definitely, I work long hours. 5 links, flexible hours. Now I'm able to live full-time and work part-time. And that's what this opportunity could provide for you all. Next thing, traffic and weather. I can tell you right now, when I look at right there my location, when I was doing very well and I owned a barbershop right there where my real estate office was, but I will never forget when the mayor of Chicago decided he wanted to replace the pipes down that street. The business went what? Down. Because you have no control of it. If the weather, if I was doing a roof, we couldn't do no roof if it was cold outside, if it was snowing, or if it was raining. So weather had all that I had to take all that into consideration with every job. And even while those things are taking place, I still was obligated to pay that mortgage every 30 days. I couldn't go to the bank and say, look, I wasn't able to get no work done today, so I want to know if you could put that note this month on the back end because it's been snowing. Now, they don't want to hear that. They want that interest payment right away. So now I'm able to work from home. It's funny because as my business grow, I remember in real estate, I would spend about $700, $800, $900 on gas just a month. Now I was just sharing with my wife that I actually can live off a full tank of gas for a week and a half. Sometimes I don't even leave out the house. I work it right there. So work from home. Next thing, real estate, building permits, zoning, spending time downtown, and then inspectors coming by, making sure that you up on the codes, know the plans, knowing everything you got to do. If you're a general contractor, you got to know what the electrician do. You got to know what the plumber do. You got to know all the variables in building a business and building a home. But with 5 links, they have everything in place. 5 links University. I can sit in front of a computer for one complete day and have me qualified to be a platinum senior vice president. And then employees. I tell people employees was probably the most frustrating thing that I had to deal with. Because they was doing just enough work, what? Not to get fired. And believe me, I was paying them just enough not to quit, right? So they come to work, we mad at each other, right? But here's the thing, contractors. And if you're not standing over them, it seemed like when me and my wife used to take a vacation, it seemed like they would take a vacation right with us. I think they was on the next flight out, right? Because I come back, everything looked like it was in the same spot, right? But 5 links, you have what? Independent marketing representatives, IMRs. See, because they didn't get in this business for you, they got in this business through you, which means they have their own individual whys and why they building this business. It has nothing to do with you. And that's the best thing that I love about this business. I don't have to babysit anybody or worry if they're going to do their job. And the next thing, attorney fees. Every time you do a closing, there's an attorney. Every time you mess up on a job, there's an attorney. Everything you do, you need an attorney. They were just racking up money. But in 5 links, Craig got all the attorneys. He paid all my attorney fees, right? So understand, I don't need an attorney for 5 links. That's Craig's problem. Sorry for Craig, right? So all I got to do is focus on what? Building. And next thing, with real estate, linear income. I don't care if on an average month I would make $100,000 a month, my overhead was $70,000, but that next month I had to go out and work just as hard the previous month in order to make that money. See, I don't care if you're sitting out there and you're a doctor, there's only so many patients that you're going to be able to work on in a day. If you're a lawyer, so many clients. No matter what business or job you are, you exchange your time. If you exchange your time for money, that's linear. And the one thing I had to learn is that every single month, I knew I was going to be faced with the same bills, if not more. But if I didn't have the job or the income coming in, then I knew what type of situation I was in. But with 5 links, we got residual income. And it pay you over and 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 over again. Which means I'm still getting paid from customers when I first joined 5 links for my first PBR, which going to continue to pay me for as long as I'm doing this business. Because of the customers that I acquire are customers of friends and family. Simple process that makes sense, that create millions of dollars. And the next thing we have to understand is where we are. See, if you don't know right now the power of this industry, and most people, they'll come to you and they'll tell you what you're involved with is a pyramid. And I tried those before. That's a pyramid scheme. See, when people tell me it's a pyramid scheme now, I don't get upset at them because they're just ignorant. Not ignorant in the sense that they don't, that ignorant that we normally say somebody's ignorant in, but ignorant in the form that they just don't know what we know, right? So our job, somebody said, still tell them that, right? But our job is to do this. It's to educate them because so they can have a clear understanding. And if you go to usadsa.org, you'll find out the power of this industry. What you'll find out is that when you really look at how much money this industry made, $29 billion a year, $29 billion. And look at that graph. We haven't had a slow time in the last 5 years. We done seen the real estate industry take a dive, the music industry take a dive, the NFL take a dive, the NBA take a dive, and when you look at those industries, music industry, $4 billion industry, NBA, $12 billion industry, NFL, $15 billion industry, $29 billion. Which means it's bigger than multiple industries all put together at once. And the beautiful thing about it is the people that make up this industry. 16 million people can produce that type of income. So you got to understand, you're in the right place at the right time. Everything right now is going from a W-2 era to a 1099. So you're in the right place at the right time. You just got to stay positioned and make sure you are there to reward your success. Now, one thing we have to understand was why is companies choosing to do business with multi-level marketing companies? Real simple. First of all, less expensive to acquire, less expensive to service. See, people that get involved with this industry, companies, they realize when you look at companies like Sprint, companies we provide, Verizon, the energy companies, if they wanted to market companies, if they want to do advertisement, we talking into the hundreds of millions of dollars. That's why you see Sprint stores shutting down, T-Mobile stores shutting down, because they know they can market to us for half the money. Excuse me, for half the money. So here's the most important thing. When you really look at that budget cut for them, $100 million, cutting that in half, guess what that's called? That's called a budget, $50 million. Put $50 million right over here in 5 links, we got Bentleys and BMWs all over this place. That's a lifestyle change. So we got to be prepared for that. We got to see the big picture. And what customer? The customer we acquire are just friends and family, which means they're going to be more loyal than anybody else walking in the store. So you got to understand you're in the right place at the right time. And the next thing you have to understand, investing versus spending. And see, this is where we get caught up at, us as reps and the people that we speaking to. They just don't know the difference. They stuck. See, it's our job to educate them, and it's our job to educate ourselves. So let's talk about investment. First of all, what is investing? To invest is to put money into something that you expect to give you an income or a profit. Real simple, right? So what are some of the things we invest in? College. These are our whys. We all want a good education for our kids, right? Don't we want good education for our kids? Absolutely. Next thing, rainy day savings. If that car breaks down or whatever it is you need to do, you need to have some money put away so you can handle that. Next thing, retirement. Mortgage. How many people would love to just pay off that interest on a mortgage? Do you realize if you got a $200,000 mortgage that you are paying over $1 million by the end of that loan? By just adding something towards the principal. It could be $100. I added $100, $200 to my motorcycle and paid my Harley off in 2 years. Easily. And next thing, business. These are the things we invest in. So let's talk about them. First of all, let's talk about spending. The spend is to pay money, usually in exchange for goods or services. And we see that all the time. Eating out, clothing, travel, music. And most funny thing is that a couple of weeks ago, my daughter, she was going crazy over these Jordans that y'all see on the screen. I had to put this in the presentation, right? Because she's like, look, I got to have these Jordans, Daddy. They the newest hot thing. So, I'm thinking, since they old Jordans, right? Maybe I'm a little old-fashioned, right? But since they old Jordans, they'll be pretty easy to get, right? They made 500,000 pair of those Jordans right there. It sold out in 2 hours. That's $92,500,000 that was made right that quick. So when people tell you they don't have $249, we just got to put the value on it because they got $249 because they spent them on that. And I know I spent $300 on them. They cost $185. So definitely, we just have to put value on what it is we're doing, going to the movies. Next thing, your time. 2 hours a day, every day, 3 to 5 years. When I got involved with 5 Links, I knew that I was on a 3 to 5 year run for financial freedom. How many of you out there really know that and willing to make that commitment? Every single day. So, what did I do? Next thing, your network. Your money. These are things we invest in. And your sweat equity. So let's just go over a couple of these things. First of all, invest in your time, training, and conference calls. Since I've been with 5 Links, I could count the times that I missed a conference call. I could count the times I don't think I ever missed a training. Never missed a Super Saturday. Never missed the regionals. Never missed the nationals. So where you got to challenge yourself, where's your commitment level at? Working my list. Inviting. Confirming. Follow up. It's so key. Showing the plan, doing PBRs. Even when nobody don't show up. Do I get discouraged if somebody don't show up at my PBR? No. Because see, I know one thing. Those people that didn't show up just mean one thing. They won't get a check in 5 links. But they have not stopped my income. They have not stopped my 15-run check. Next thing, BOMs and Super Saturday. Are you at every BOM in your market? Are you showing up to Super Saturdays? And I'm not talking about showing up late, showing up early. That's what leaders do. At the regionals and international training, I can tell you right now, I want to commend each and every last one of you all here for showing up to New Orleans. Because I know it wasn't easy. I know it wasn't easy for any of you all to show up to this event. It wasn't easy for me to show up here either. We all going through challenges in our life right now that could easily told us not to get here. But just understand the reasons why you wouldn't come is the reason why you need to be here. Because this is the only place that is going to change your life forever by showing up at this international training event. So I commend each and every last one of you all for taking the time out and continuing to commit to training. And next thing, invest in time in reading. Readers are leaders. We got to turn off the radio. We got to turn off the television. I mean, wouldn't you agree we in critical times right now? We see all this talk on Capitol Hill and what's going to happen with the money. I don't have that concern, and I want the same thing for you guys. So we have to put some knowledge up in our head. We got to start picking up books. Me, I can tell you right now, I'm not a great reader. And I know I can't read well, so that's why I buy the DVD and play it. Right? Understand, I just got to get the knowledge. It don't matter, I don't have to read it to get it. Do what you got to do. Now, everybody can do that, right? Next thing, ask yourself, do you have a 100-name list? Now, I'm not talking about on your cell phone, and then you come and break out these. I've seen people say, yeah, I got a 100-name list, and they got about 5 sheets of papers with 20 names on it. I'm like, really? How you really consider yourself having a 100-name list? Because here's the thing. It's not prioritized. You don't have a proper list. You got to have it all on one sheet of paper. See, in business, everybody have inventory. And when we talk about inventory, the only thing that you need for capital inventory in this business is people's names. I tell my team, you put people's names down even if you don't have their phone numbers. If you know them and you haven't had contact with them, but you know who they are and they know you, put their name down. Speak their number into existence. Because it's powerful. We have to learn how to do that. Next thing, follow up. We got to get out the game of once they leave that they may not be interested. We got to follow up within 24 to 48 hours. Steve Carter, he says it all the time. Every day, you lose 25% interest. Day 2, you at 50, right, Steve? Day 3, you at 75. So I learned the first 24 to 48 hours, that's your window. Hit them hard. And then 10 phone calls a day. 5 in the morning, 5 in the evening. 5 in the morning, 5 in the evening. That's over 300 calls a month. Mark Arnell said that anybody that does this system right here over a year, he don't see why they should make $100,000 a year in this industry. Just by picking up the phone, making phone calls. Now, most people, I don't understand why that's so difficult. Because if you're going to work, your people, your friends is going what? Going to work. Just pick up the phone, call them while you're going to work. Take you about, and first of all, I tell people all the time, if you're on the phone with one person more than 30 minutes, he ain't coming in 5 links with you. You done gave him a presentation over the phone. Just picking up the phone, inviting them out to a 3-way call, inviting them out to a conference call, any link like that. And then wait for a change window. 3, 6 to 9 months. Marshall Fortune my mentor, my platinum senior vice president, my upline, he came every single month, every 3 to 6 months, he would come in my office. And he would come in there, for anybody that's new here, but at that time, we had a video phone that looked like Pac-Man, right? Stan, we ain't gonna go there. We know what we talking about with that, right? The one before the one with the camera problem, right? But here's the thing right here I want you to understand, is that with this video phone, he would come into my office and tell me how this is going to change the world. Now, for me, I was looking at Marshall like, when I really thought about this, selling video phones to me was right next to selling Kirby vacuum cleaners, right? I wasn't having it, right? But he followed up. And after about a year, my circumstances had changed. Real estate market took a turn. He invited me out in front of the opportunity. He introduced me to the co-founder. And at that time, when he first introduced it to me, he was an IMR. But the next time when I finally looked at it, he was getting his BMW. So when I saw him get that BMW, I had one question for Marshall, right? How many of them phones I got to sell to get one of those, right? Because one thing I was told that if he could do it, what? I could do it. So just wait for your change window. And then we got to understand that no matter what happens right here at this convention, new products being launched, is that we got to get sold on the products. We got to get the new product. If they come out with a new video phone, they came out with another one. Where the camera didn't work, then they came out with another one. Now they got the Velocity tablet and more products to come. But we have to stay in curve with everything that's taking place. So basically what I'm telling you right here is you got to understand, you got to become your first and best customer. There's not a product that 5Links own that I'm not getting paid on. I have the GSP-10. I have 2 home phones. I have 2 Velocity tablets because me and my wife got 2 positions. So I need services for both positions. We can't be sharing no Velocity tablet, right? Definitely ain't gonna share no power play, right? So you got to get sold on the products. So when new release products come out, when you decide whether or not I'm going to invest my money, if I'm going to spend, or if I'm going to buy that, or if I'm going to get that service, or if I'm going to get ID Guard, or if I'm going to get Business Elite, how you going to sell Text Alert if you don't have Business Elite or Text Alert? How you going to sell it? If you own a business where you're selling any products, how you not going to have merchant account processing? So you have to get sold on your own products. It's so important to invest in that. See, the people that invest money make money. See, we get caught up in the fact that we think because we sign up for $249, get our website and get qualified, that everything else, the BMWs and Bentleys, is supposed to get dropped off in the driveway. You have to have the products and get excited about it. Next thing, investing in trainers. You here? You got to get signed up when they do a power hour tomorrow for the next national convention. I'll be the first one signing up. I always am. And I get in free because I'm going to have guests here. Resource tools, leadership resource tools. The platinums and double platinums that's sitting on this front row, they have all the knowledge that you need. Go into the store and buy their tools. Buy their resource tools. And after that, go to the next place, go to Barnes & Noble, buy Brian Tracy. Now, next thing you want to do, buy Napoleon Hill. Why would you want to spend the rest of your life, trying to figure this thing out when somebody then figured it out for the last 30 or 40 years and put it in a 2-hour DVD or a 30-minute DVD? So we have to make that investment. And one of the things that Brian Tracy, and he's one of the persons who I definitely admire, he says that everybody should spend 10% of their earning on their own personal development. I'm not talking about 10% of what you make in 5Links, 10% period in life. Whatever you make, you should be spending 10% of it on your earnings. And he said after him doing that, it got to the point that every year his income would double and triple, to the point where he was spending, trying to figure out how he going to be able to spend $100,000 in a year? Because of the millions of dollars the resource tools have made for him. Next thing, sweat equity. See, we got to show up. For those that don't have the resource tools, that doesn't mean that you can't be, or the financial tools to be successful. It just means that you're going to have to put in some sweat work. You got to get out there and you got to show up. You have a problem getting to the regional or getting into the regional, then you should be there at 5 o'clock if it's at 5 o'clock in the morning if it starts at 10. Can I set up and work my way off of this? Figure out a way to earn your pay. Be committed. You're not being committed to your leadership, you're getting committed to your why. So we learn how to be committed to us, then that's really what's going to change our why. And we got to be a team player. See, one thing I can tell you right now is that when I see a group of people piled up in a room to get to this national convention, piled up in a car, they're able to sleep on top of each other to get the knowledge so they can take back to their market. See, you people, you are the leaders of tomorrow. And you should be commended for that. And being realistic, listen, have some realistic goals. Everybody's not going to hit SVP in 132 days like me and Nicole did. Everybody's not going to hit it like Thomas Felder did in 85. Everybody's not going to hit it in 2 years. Everybody's not going to be a double platinum in 6 years like Stan Richards. But here's the thing. What if it takes you 8 years to become platinum senior vice president? If it takes you 8 years to be a platinum senior vice president, that means 2021, you will have a 2021 Bentley. That's the only difference. Now, I don't know about you, but if you go back 8 years from now, look at what you did and then go home and look at what you're driving. If that's not encouragement. So you got to understand, this is not about no fast success, even though it happens. And it can happen without you knowing about it, but you got to be prepared to go the long goal and have realistic goals. Like I tell people all the time, having a profitable network marketing business, it's like having a baby. You got to nurture it, take care of it, educate it. And then over time, it will grow and mature. But first thing we got to do is we got to give birth to it. So I tell people all the time, we got to learn how to invest in us. How to really take the time out to make sure that we're doing the things that's going to warrant us success. The best investment that any one of you all could have made was showing up to this international training event. The next investment you have to make is to go back to that market and be prepared to pay your money to go to the BOM for those guests not to show up, and you still show up the next week. Because even though I'm a platinum senior vice president and I drive a Bentley, people tell me no, and they don't show up. That doesn't stop anything that I do. I'm used to no's. Matter of fact, I learned to like them. I sure did. Why? Because I know that when a person tells me no, I don't have to spend a whole lot of time on them. Now, just think about it a second. What if you did convince somebody to join 5 Links for you? You probably will have to convince them to get on a conference call, convince them to go to BOM, convince them to go to training. That, to me, I'm not into convincing business. That's not what I do. I have an opportunity. If they see it, they like it, and we build on it. One of the things that Napoleon Hill, he talks about in one of his books, is that he says that he was sitting down talking with a gentleman. It was at lunchtime, and he sit down and he's talking to one of the most successful person of all times. And we're talking back in the early 30s. And the one thing in question he asks is, because this person wrote a book on 1,000 ways in order to be successful. And one of the out of 1,000 ways, now you're sitting down at lunch and you got an opportunity to be in front of the most successful person. He said, just give me one. Because I know you're busy. Can you just give me one? He said, well, there's about 999 of them more. But the one way to really be successful is to be disciplined. And he said with discipline, you could, if you don't have the other 999, you could conquer. But to have all the 999 and not have discipline, you won't be successful at nothing. So we got to be disciplined. And we got to have a clear picture of our why. Our whys change every single day. I know mine do. Have a clear picture on your why. And then you got to evaluate your strategy. And then right now in these rough economical times, you have got to create a sense of urgency. And one of the exercises I would like for everybody in this room to do is I'd like for you to close your eyes. Close your eyes for 1 second. And what I would like for you to do is turn the clock forward. I want you to picture yourself picking up your BMW, picking up your Bentley 2 years after that, being promoted to Diamond, Platinum Senior Vice President. They're calling your name. They're carrying you to the stage. You're getting your platinum pool check. Can you all see that? Wake up. Was that a good look? Now, next exercise. Close your eyes. Visualize yourself in the same spot 5 years from now. Wake up. It don't look good, do it? So what does that mean? That means we got to be proactive. We got to be all in. It's time for us to really work hard to get it done. See, I don't know about you, but I told you I own a real estate, mortgage, title. I don't own any of those businesses no more. So while y'all out there, don't ask me in my house, can we find, me and my wife, can we find you a home? No. We don't do that no more. Which means one thing, though. I'm all in. See, I don't have a plan B. So I have to begin with the end in mind. I got to take action now. See, I got to get it done. See, I have 6 kids back there in Chicago that I have to go, when I leave here, go back and take care of them. See, you got to be all in. And I'm not telling you to quit your job. No. I tell people all the time, faith, family, full-time job, then 5 links. But you got to stay committed, and you got to be disciplined. And then we got to understand one thing, the difference between pain and pleasure. What we consider pain. Let me tell you what I consider pain. Getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning, taking 1 to 2 hours to go to work when you're not even getting paid for those hours. That's pain. 5 o'clock. Let me tell you what else is pain. Pain is when you get to work, you know, the boss that you work so hard for 8, 9 hours, he don't even care or replace you tomorrow. That's pain. What else is pain? Pain is when your kids need education and you need a better education for them, but you are in a situation where you have to send them to a school that you don't even want them to go to. That's pain. See, we got to learn the difference between pain and pleasure. Pain is when you got a loved one that you need to care after, but you're not able to because your job says you don't have no time off. That's pain. So we have to evaluate what is pain and what is pleasure. And for most of us, I tell people all the time, listen here, I can tell you right now, it's not going to be easy. 5 links is not easy. 5 links, it's just worth it. I don't pretend this to be easy. I don't pretend because I stand up here as a Platinum Senior Vice President that I don't have challenges. Every platinum or double platinum on this road is dealing with challenges. It's just that we have the time to deal with them. And that's what we want to give to you. So I tell people all the time, we really have got to evaluate pain and pleasure. I flew down here late last night from Chicago, Illinois. After Saturday, my mother had a stroke. And I waited till she was out of ICU, but I was able to sleep with her every single night up until I came here. And I really wasn't going to share this story, but I want you to understand my commitment. But at the same time, I want you to understand the power of this opportunity. Because whenever time that she needed me, I don't have to call anybody to tell them what it is I'm about to do. And at the same time, I was able to tell, even for me going out of town for 3 days, all my relatives to take their sick days because I could pay for them to stay there while I'm gone. And at the same time, to have a power of the network that because of the hospital that they took her to was the worst hospital in Chicago, but to have powerful people in the network like James and Jamil Meets to make sure that my mother got to the Northwestern, the best hospital in the United States of America. So what I'm telling you all is that we all gonna suffer from pains. The pain of discipline or the pain of regret. The difference is discipline weigh ounces, regret weigh tons. So we gotta get it done. And we gotta be all in. And one thing I can tell you right now, this year right here will be the best year in 5 links. And the reason why I know that is because, and I'm not saying this from an arrogant standpoint, is because I know that the advisory council team that's sitting in those front rows, they're gonna do whatever it takes to take 5 links to $1 billion company. So the only question is, are you gonna be on their team when it happens? See, I know in the next 3 to 5 years, that there will be platinums and double platinums that's sitting on this front row, that their organization will be the size of this convention. The only thing that I ask you all, work hard, go back to your market, be respectful, get it done, get your customer points up. Thomas Felder, he did an awesome job. Give him a round of applause. First time trainer, unbelievable job. King Pinion, awesome job on customer acquisition. And then one of my favorite trainers, where's my wife, Nicole? Awesome job on prospecting. So look, we got a lot in store for the rest of this weekend. Look, let's go out here and get it done. Let's go out here, let's make some money, and let's make 2013 the best year in 5 links. Are y'all all in? Are y'all all in? Are y'all all in? Thank you. I'm Platinum Senior Vice President Frank Kimbrough.